My name is Jesse, and I work with small businesses in the government marketplace. You're listening to FedBiz 5, where you get informed, get connected, and get results on everything government contracting. Hello, and welcome to another episode. We have Marc Schulman on today, who is the CEO for Advocate Consulting Group, and he's here to tell us a little bit about his experience working with FedBiz Access. Welcome, Marc, and thanks for coming on.
Well, thank you.
So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your company? What's your story?
Well, I was in the Navy 40 years ago, loved what I did, but I got injured a couple years in. So I've been a disabled veteran for about 38 years now, a little bit more.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Thanks. I was pretty discouraged at the time, but wouldn't change anything. Over the years, had really good experiences and wound up building a few companies, sold some, and got into the corporate world probably 35 years ago or so, and really had some good experiences. My last gig, IBM hired a handful of us to turn around their worst operations around the world. So mentored a lot of execs, different parts of the U.S. and overseas, and just had an amazing time. And I quit 20 years ago to go on my own. And through that process, one of the guys I mentored, I started building companies with him and built a national pharmaceutical company, built some companies in the lab space, and ended up building a couple for myself and some partners. And that's how ACG came about a little over 3 years ago.
Sounds like you've had a lot of prestigious experience. So when did you decide to take part in the government marketplace?
Well, I had played a part in it about, 25 or 26 years ago, and was a good experience, and then got away from it because I've had an apartment in the Washington, D.C. area that I would live there pretty much for a year and a half, Monday through Friday. And then I had a place in Minnesota, Minneapolis area, and had a really good experience. And I just never really thought about, doing this, serving the government, with a company until probably 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh, wow.
One of my representatives, he said, "You're a disabled veteran and you should get certified." And I didn't listen at first, but after a while I thought about it. And so he had gotten a hold of FedBiz Access probably 3 years ago and started processes for some of the work that needed to be done. And he was doing it whether I listened to him or not. And so that's how it started, and been a great experience with you guys since then.
So is that about the time you started working with FedBiz Access?
For me, as intimately as I've been, probably the last year, but he just started having some services done for the company because he believed in it. Then he got my attention, and then it's been nothing but, phenomenal. There's some folks, especially, Claire, Cheryl, Amanda, and Jeff. And I'll tell you, I've spent the most time with Claire, and she would just predict things to me as I was going through the process of getting certified as a service disabled veteran-owned small business. And she was just spot on every time. She would say, "Okay, you need to do this because this is the kind of question I'll be anticipating." And it was almost like she had a crystal ball. So, she was perfect and just a wonderful person to work with. I've not gotten to meet her in person yet, but I sure hope to, because she's almost become family.
Wow. That's very kind words right there. So what else did FedBiz provide?
They helped with GSA schedule, and I'm still in the process working with Jeff on that right now. But so GSA schedule, I think 2 or 3 other things, and I'm just telling you my experience working with them. I just look forward to every time I get to speak to any of them. But yes, so the most recent thing that they helped us do was to be certified as a service disabled veteran-owned small business, and then the last thing we'll finish up is getting some of our items on the GSA schedule.
Outstanding. So on a scale from 1 to 10, how would you rate your overall experience with FedBiz?
Oh, 10 on everything. Sometimes if I had a question to Claire, I would send an email to her, maybe 4 or 5 in the morning, my time, which was probably 5 or 6 in the morning, her time. She would get back to me within 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Just response times are, above and beyond. So definitely a 10. I'd recommend FedBiz Access to anyone who is either in the government services space or looking to get into the space.
That's always nice to hear. We do appreciate it. But before we go, do you have any advice you could give our listeners that are interested in getting into the government marketplace?
Well, it's definitely not easy, just a lot you need to learn. And if you do have the ability to be certified as some kind of a small disadvantaged business, make sure you do that. That doesn't mean that, money's going to fall out of the sky or contracts are going to fall out of the sky, but you have a leg up, and it's just, it's a good opportunity. And I would definitely contact FedBiz Access and have them help you get started, because like I said, it's a lot of work. Anybody who thinks that they're just jump in that market and, coast, it's not for anybody who likes coasting, but you folks have been phenomenal.
Well, once again, thank you so much. And you're absolutely right. It's not something that you could really start right out of the gate.
No.
I want to say thank you so much for coming on, and definitely a pleasure having you. And I also want to say good luck on your continued success.
Thank you very much. Excited to keep on going. And again, you folks have helped me every step of the way, and we'll keep on going together.
Thank you so much for coming on. Take care.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
This concludes this week's episode of FedBiz 5, where you get informed, get connected, and get results. Today's podcast is sponsored by FedBiz Access, government contracting made simple. Visit them at fedbizaccess.com or contact them at 888-299-4498.